Is the solid north real?
I don't think so. It's more imaginary.
Really?
To me, there's no such thing as solid north. Maybe before, the old people wanted Marcos. Even my parents, my aunts and my uncles, they were
I
all...
never thought that this day would come where you have Duterte there and you have people grilling him. Ano pa po? Eh, ano pa pinag-aaksaya nyo ng oras pagka kaharap nyo telepono nyo?
Eh, pag sinabi nila na, oy, Chichi, tingnan mo yung ganito, ganyan, doon sa quad hearing. They're prolonging it.
And so when it...
So they're entertaining people.
Exactly.
They're, with Duterte, they are entertaining people, and with their questions and their accent and their grammar, they're entertaining people.
But you grew up in Ilocos.
Up to high school.
Paway.
Yes.
What was that like? What was Paway in your
Well,
This was post-war.
Yes, it was wartime, 1941.
Okay.
Oh, of course, I had a happy childhood. You can go there to ask for mangoes, TY. Hindi kagaya ngayon, it's so expensive now. You can go there to ask for papaya, TY. We enjoyed, I played marbles, I played, yung tife, may tife, ang tawag dun eh. There's a chart on the cement and you hop. You push yung broken terracotta chips and all that.
Pico.
Something like that.
Okay.
So I had a happy childhood. Although my father was very strict. Whenever there was a free movie, yung Kortal noon, i-announce nila sa umaga na merong mamaya, tonight there's going to be free movies. Di syempre, ever ready na ako, kasama ko na yung mga classmates ko, dala ko na yung bangkito ko para if my father gets a mind of it, he won't allow. Pero masaya ako. I enjoyed. So, that is one advantage you have if you grow up in the province.
Mid-60s, have an Ilocano congressman promising that, I will deliver to you, I will become the first Ilocano president, Ferdinand Marcos.
Actually, he was not the first Ilocano president. It was Crino.
Okay, but was that a big deal for you? I mean, did that, at a young age, at that age, and for the people of Ilocos? I mean,
of course, because Marcos was a very good orator. We were really awed by him. And when he married Imelda, lalo na. Because Imelda was so beautiful, she was like an apparition. Sobrang ganda. And we saw her up close because Paway and Batak are adjacent to each other. I mean, she was really beautiful.
And what was that like when you first saw her? I mean, comparing it to how people can get starstruck with today's celebrities and so on. What was that like?
Well, we were old, and we imagined that she would become, fairest
of them all.
Of them all, fairest of them all. So there was a time she was the fairest of them all.
Hindi siya nanalo eh. Kaya nga nagalit siya, 'di ba? She didn't win Miss Manila. Oh, 'di ba? Anyway, is the solid north real?
I don't think so. It's more imaginary.
Really?
Yes, because there are some provinces or some Ilocano areas which were not really actually solid for Marcos. Maybe the majority of Ilocanos were for Marcos, no doubt about that. But it's one thing to say you're solid, because by the size of the votes that you get, you can determine whether, well, it depends on my standard, but to me, there's no such thing as solid north. Maybe before, the old people wanted Marcos. Even my parents, my aunts and my uncles, they were all Marcos pa rin.
And after EDSA? After EDSA, I mean, what happened in your view? I mean, to that notion of a solid north?
There were still so many loyal Ilocanos after EDSA. Remember, they thought that Marcos was being persecuted.
I think I'm asking it not even in the context just of Ilocos, di ba? People assume that we are a regionalistic people. Certainly, when I was growing up, that was part of the education, that was part of the conventional thinking. And hanggang ngayon, di ba? When we start to speculate, sino kayang tatakbo sa next elections? And always the calculation is, it has to be addition. It has to be somebody from the north, somebody from the south.
No, there was a time na they did not consider yung ganun what do you call it? na ganun ang i-weigh mo na kailangan may ganito, ganyan from other. No, but now, mukhang more pragmatic ang mga tao. Gusto nila may candidate from your region, candidate from that region, para naman, a balance.
Pragmatic ang mga tao, pragmatic ang mga politiko.
Both. Because ang mga tao, gusto rin nila may sariling manok sila from their region. And so, realizing that, the politicians saw to it that would be followed.
Our justice system. How would you assess it today relative to when you first entered law? What has changed? What never changes?
I think it's the composition of the court that changes. Now, whether or not the justice that were rendered by the old justices is the same as the justice being rendered now by the present crop of justices, that would be a different story. It would depend on the assessment of the people. So perhaps it's not fair on my part to say how does the old set of justices compare with the new set of justices. So it's not fair for me to be, given the fact that I came from the Supreme Court. So,
but what do you like about it? What do you like about the law?
well, you feel euphoric if you render justice, whether you win or not, but at least you tried. So to me, that is a ground for euphoria. Whether you lose a case or you win a case, it's the same. At least you tried. You render justice according to what you think is right. No one is infallible.
Which do you prefer more? Being an advocate on either side of a case, or being the referee, being the judge?
Well, I enjoyed being a judge. I hardly had any experience in the courts because I was with the law office, but because I was new, I was always being asked to attend postponements most of the time. But when I was with the Department of Justice, I was an armchair lawyer, so I did not also show up in courts and be an advocate. So, of course, I enjoy being a judge.
What's the hardest thing about it, especially in our context? What's the hardest thing
About being
a judge that Filipinos maybe don't realize or don't understand?
Well, if all practitioners were honest, it would be easy to decide a case. But there are some practitioners who slant their case in favor of their client, even if they know that, even if they may realize that their client is on the wrong side of the equation.
Okay.
So if all lawyers were honest enough to come out with the correct or with the right presentation of their case, madaling mag-decide. Pero if the practitioner slants his case in favor of his client, and of course the other one slants also, so you have to marshal the facts.
Yeah.
You yourself have to see to it that you mix which is true, which is not true, and then you come up with the statement of facts. After the statement of facts, madali na yan mag-resolve.
Pero hindi po ganun naman talaga yung trabaho ng abogado.
Yes.
Na
Yeah.
talagang-
No. A lawyer should reflect the truth. Huwag mo namang baliktarin parang manalo, so kikita ka lang. No. That should not be the case. Well, there are always defenses that you can come up with. Maybe someone killed somebody. But just because one killed somebody, the killer should go to jail? No. There's such thing as self-defense, incomplete self-defense. That is the work of a lawyer, to defend his client on the basis of the facts as shown by the lawyer and as convinced by, if you are convinced about what he is saying. And sometimes the story of the client is supported by testimonial evidence, documentary evidence, object evidence, physical evidence, and all that. So you yourself as a lawyer should see to it that your client is telling the truth. Now, if you believe that he is guilty because it's not true that he can invoke
siya talaga.
self-defense, try your best to minimize the penalty. Try to look for mitigating circumstances that can help your client mitigate the penalty.
But do not deny the basic truth.
Well, do
ganyan.
not. Do not. You should not.
Oo.
Yes, you should not.
Okay. Kasi hindi naman nakabogado eh. Sometimes I get that, I thought that was part of the argument that, you was part of giving a vigorous defense is
Yeah,
really being
you are going to give a vigorous defense because you have a defense. But if you want to twist the real facts of the case, that to me is not acceptable.
Alam niyo po, nakasama ko si Justice Conchita Carpio Morales recently. Pinapakita ko lang sa inyo yung kadalasan nakikita. But I was with her recently. I feel blessed that I had this opportunity to be with you in a totally different setting, talking about other things. We were in India together on a trip with the Ramon Magsaysay Foundation. We met a lot of Ramon Magsaysay awardees, in particular from India. And we met among other people, one of the earliest Ramon Magsaysay awardee, the Dalai Lama. How was that for you? Nung nakita niyo po ang Dalai Lama?
Well, perhaps it was, how do I catch the word? I would not compare it with seeing the Pope.
The Pope.
Because I have seen the Pope up close twice.
Which
Once, the present Pope.
Okay.
They said, when you see the Pope, you say, Pope Francis will pray for you, please pray us also. But when you were shaking his hands, wala na, nakalimutan mo na. You are, you are parang, you become speechless, but I think that feeling cannot be analogous to the feeling you had when you met the Dalai Lama. To begin with, well, he's a Buddhist and you are a Christian, you are a Catholic rather. So, but still, you felt blessed that you see a Tibetan spiritual leader who is well known around the world and who advocated three principles: altruism, logic, and nonviolence, which we could, adapt in the Philippine setting. But altruism, you think we can adapt that?
Why not? Are you saying we can't?
We can't. But at the present crop of leaders, do you think altruism is going to be adopted by them?
I will let your rhetorical question answer that for me.
Fuera de los buenos, meron naman tao talaga who are animated by good faith and by public interest as opposed to private interest.
I also enjoyed shopping with you. One thing people don't see is all the colors that you have right now, people don't realize you love colors.
No naman.
I mean, the whole time
No
I saw
naman.
it, parang you like bright colors.
No, but just because you saw me wearing
No, I assume.
wearing canary yellow during the Magsaysay Awards, yeah, those were old clothes, and I even had it widened. Maliit naman konti ang figure ko naman. Lumaki na. So I had it widened. It was too wide naman. So I was a bit uncomfortable.
Okay.
But I had to wear this because I was wearing white and then my maid said, sabi niya, ma'am, sabi ninyo may interview kayo sa TV, hindi yata magandang puti sa ano. I wanted to wear black. Baka naman sabi na, I'm warning democracy, that's why I'm wearing black. So I wanted something. What color do you find this? What color?
Wag, ayoko. Mapapahiya ako. Mapagalitan ako ni Joy.
Hindi. Sige, pulaan mo.
It's between it.
I want a glamorous color.
I would say lime, but leaning more towards yellow. What is it?
Chartreuse. Or avocado.
I can honestly say I would have never thought of that word.
Pinapatawa lang kita. Okay.
But I think I like that. I mean, gaya nga sabi ko, ako porter nyo eh. Ako ang taga-buhat ng maleta ni Conchita Carpio Morales.
No.
One of the highlights of my life.
That was when we were about to leave already. When we were still there, light pa ang maleta ko, I could manage to swing it around. But when we were leaving already, your wife also was buying.
Opo. Hindi ko naman sinasabing di ba? But you enjoy shopping.
I did. Is overstatement. In fact, when I was in Pasay, there was, I don't know if you know him. What's his name? Arias. He was a newscaster, I think, Arias. And there was, ang kalaban niya was Attorney Tugade from Cagayan. So when the hearing was done, they asked me, Judge, when can we get the transcript of the stenographic notes? Sabi ko, okay, I'll advise the stenographer to transcribe them right away. And then Attorney Arias brought out 20 pesos yata at the time.
Mm.
Malaki na rin.
Malaki yun.
So he said, I'm advancing part of the fees for the stenographic notes. I don't know about my compañero because he's from the north. See?
Oh,
Implication.
nagpintig tenga nyo.
Oh, of course. Sabi ko, I beg your pardon. I am Ilocana. Sabi kong ganyan. But we live within our means. Hindi kagaya ng Bisaya. Sabi kong ganon. I was in the dorm. Sabi kong ganyan. You know, when I was in the dorm, my parents would send me adobo or igado because our vinegar is black, but it approximates yung Modena vinegar.
Mm.
Sabi
Sarot.
nila, nadidiri sila. Sabi kong ganon. Ano ba yun? And then when they tasted it, ay, pahingi, cheat. Oh, see, I said, but they were in beautiful clothes, perfumed and all that. At ang kinakain, yung iba lang, no? Boiled bananas. I'm not saying that lahat ng Bisaya or ano ay kumakain ng boiled. But what I'm saying is that minamata nila, they underestimate Ilocanos, they say barat and all that. Sabi ko, we live within our means and of course we haggle. If you can get away with it, why not? See, sabi ko,
I saw you getting away with it.
Yes, I get away with it. And I haggle. In fact, my driver, when I was still with the Supreme Court, sabi niya ganyan, ako, ang barat-barat ni ma'am. Sabi niya ganyan. Sabi ko, hindi ako barat. Kung sakaling makalusot ako, why not? So, because we were in Baguio, in the Baguio market, so, sabi ko, kasi, if I buy something, and I was able to haggle, reduce the price by 10 pesos, and I go to another vendor, which sells the same, and it is more expensive by 20 pesos yung binili ko, mas mura yung ano. Despite my haggling, parang linalagnat ako. Kasi parang tanga akong nag-haggle. So why should I not haggle, di ba? But there are times na you don't haggle anymore. Like when there was a vendor of dried fish. I was in Mines View Park. She said she came from La Union. I'm going to stay here for 4 days because my daughter is sick and I have nothing to pay for her medical expenses. So, even if I don't eat tuyo na maalat, di ba? It's bad for my health. And what else was she selling? I did not haggle anymore. Yung ganon. Huwag mong sabihin ng Ilocano. Sasabihin nila kuripot. Sabi ko, no. Let's have our stomachs subjected to chemical analysis. So, bakit? So, sabihin nila, ang kinakain daw namin ay ano yung ruot? Ruot is grass. Damo. Kinakain daw namin. Tingnan natin kung ang lang ng tiyan natin. Meron bang caviar? Ang yabang, wag na. Naiinis ako, minamatang nilang Ilocano. Pagkatapos pag medyo matangos ang ilong. Ay, akala ko, hindi ka Ilocano. Bakit? Kasi hindi flat yung ilong mo. Tapos, may isa naman na I will not identify her anymore. Ang inalis ko ang glasses ko, sabi niya ganyan, Chit, saan mo pinagawa ang ilong mo? Imagine, that's your first time to know this fellow and asks you where you had your nose fixed.
Baka naman compliment yun. It's his way of saying
pinagawa
na,
Pinagawa.
ilong mo.
Pinagawa. Sabi ko, I'm sorry, I was born with patrician features. Di keto siya. You know mga things like that. You have to be very careful, tactful. First time mo makilala, sasabihin nila, saan mo pinagawa? She assumed that pinagawa ko naman. Kung sinabi pa niya, Chit, ang ganda ng ilong mo. Sabi ko, thank you. Tapos kung gusto pa niya mag-probe na ano ba yan, natural o ano? Yung gano'n, pwede pa. Pero yung sabihin mo na pinagawa, my God. Excuse me.
And when people
when
people rub you the wrong way, do they know immediately?
Wait.
It
depends. It depends how they will rub in the wrong way.
No, I'm asking. Regardless, I guess the question is really more about you. Are you the type of person na wala akong pinapalampas or parang
Hindi.
konting
Okay. You go to a store. Kaya alam Rustans Rustans ang trained yung kanilang sales staff. You go to a store. Sabi, Miss, patingin yung ilalabas na ganun. Tinitingnan ko. She could sense na parang namahalan ako. You didn't even verbalize whatever you think. Sabi nilang ganun, Ma'am, may mas mura dito. That's an insult, di ba? I want to talk to your manager. Kasi they should be trained, di ba? Yung ganun na, Ma'am, may mas mura. Kasi nakuha na niya na namahalan ako. Di ba?
Napalunod kaya tayo na malakas.
Hindi naman, tinitingnan lang. Kasi mag-pretend ka rin na alangan naman sabihin, this is okay, the price is all right, hindi ka naman bibili. O di, ganun.
Babalik ako.
Good friends. Yung babalik, sasabihin nila, hindi babalik.
How else do you relax? And what do you like doing when outside of work?
Well, I watch concerts, kung meron.
Concerts.
Yeah.
Classical, what kind of music?
I listen to classical music. Yung permanent yung sa sasakyan ko eh. 98.7. Hindi, kung usually,
The master's touch.
usually after,
DZFE.
I don't even know, basta 98.7.
98.7, yes.
Sometimes, parang punrembra ang music. So yung driver parang nabibisit, alam mo naman. Gumagaya, wag kang gumaya, ha? Gumaganon, kasi punebra eh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kayo pa, you mentioned kanina that you actually imagined yourself sa sarsuela.
Yes.
Do you sing? How would you rate yourself?
Bathroom singer. The tonal quality of my voice simply does not allow it. See?
Ever?
Never.
Why not? I mean,
Ladies
did you try? Were you ever part of anything?
Well, I should have studied, but it's too late now.
This is something I always ask my guests. Because I saw you're on your phone.
Pero,
You're on your phone,
Yeah.
di ba?
I am, sir.
Facebook kayo?
no, I don't have Facebook.
Wala?
Umurahin nila ako dun. Sabi
YouTube.
kong kalaban. It's nice to be involved in this social media, in this to watch YouTube, to Google, and to Gmail, for as long as you see if whatever you receive or watch or read is true. Kasi,
As you said, that you're not on Facebook, you said.
yes, because some insult me.
Okay.
Some,
So you were there, tapos napansin nyo na...
No. Even
You
if-
never opened an account?
and someone opened for me,
Ah.
but they know it's fake because my staff would show me a pile of papers showing. I said, you show me anything derogatory. I don't like you to see to it that only those nice or complimentary comments are shown. So, papakita sa akin. So, when I was still with the office with the ombudsman, yung mga bata ni Binay, tawag nila sa akin, conchit, C-H-E-T. C-H-A-T. So, kung may nag-conchit na, sabi ko bata ni Binay ito. So, it pisses you off. Diba? Why can't they be so, they can call me anything, but to say I am dishonest or I'm corrupt, I don't let that go unanswered. Kaya naiinis ako. So I don't have Facebook.
So otherwise papatulan nyo yun?
Well, I don't like to put it in writing,
Ah,
but I want to see that fellow who told me conchit face to face.
okay. So doon tayo sa YouTube, kasi at least nandiyan pa kayo sa
YouTube.
YouTube.
Oo naman, YouTube.
Ano yung, I'm always curious because you know how algorithms work,
Yeah.
diba? In a way, it keeps feeding you kung ano yung type nyo. That's why I wanna ask you, what kinds of videos does YouTube feed you without you having to look for it?
Things that interest me, let's say, tungkol kay Trump,
Okay.
tungkol kay Kamala.
Okay.
Of course, I love Kamala. So,
Politics in general.
politics, yes, about socio-culture, everything. Politics, about, of course, royalty. Feeling royal.
You watch it with a fascination for the tabloid material, or you
No,
watch it for the sake?
not tabloid. Well, nagkataon kung dumaan ang tabloid, so be it. But, of course, I have my favorites sa royal.
Okay. Sino?
Queen Mary of Denmark.
Okay. And you have a fascination for her in particular, or
Yes,
just
yes.
monarchies?
No, because I like the way she behaved when it was bruited about that her husband was fooling with a Casanova. Casanova ang pangalan ng babae, Spanish, Spanish. Genoveva Casanova. I remember. I liked her because her demeanor was, she was not saying anything. It is as if she said, I couldn't care less. I'm confident enough not to be bothered. Gusto ko yung ganung attitude. That's why I love her. And she can be human. She doesn't have to have fine clothes always. No, she can be casual. She can be down to earth. She can relate to ordinary people. I like her. Period.
Ano pa po? Ano pang pinag-aaksaya nyo ng oras pagka kaharap nyo telepono nyo?
Pag sinabi nila na, oy, tingnan mo yung ganito, ganyan. Doon sa quad hearing. So because I don't watch TV, I told you. But someone, someone, maraming nagsasabi siya, oy, i-watch mo nga, ganito, ganyan. O, titingnan ko naman, oh my. O di siyempre.
Do you think ba po yung quad hearing na yan may katapusan ba yan? Or for that matter, all of the congressional hearings
Well, it's
in
supposed to be in
season?
aid of legislation.
Yes.
I have yet to see, I don't know, maybe I'm stupid enough not to be able to see the pattern of how they go about crafting legislation
Mm.
as a result of those. At saka ang tagal-tagal, why does it take them so many
Yeah.
weeks and months even on end?
Di ba?
Yes.
And I think that's the same question that everybody has. Just the other day, ang guest ko dito, si Congressman Benny Abante. And I was asking the same thing. I think,
Oh, what did he say? I did not watch.
well, I'll tell you what I said. I said first na, I think may mga eksena that Filipinos find themselves saying na, I never thought that this day would come, where you have Duterte there and you have people grilling him. And certainly a lot of people didn't expect this to happen technically this fast. I think this is relatively fast for us. At the same time, people are also, I think, wondering, okay, nagigrill siya, natatanong siya finally, he gets to get confronted, pero saan ba papunta lahat to? And people see elections next year ahead of time. We know that all these congressmen are going to be running for positions, lalo na pagdating ng January. So, we're all wondering. I mean, do you wonder that? Parang,
Yeah. I mean, I think so much facts or non-facts have been unearthed during those hearings. So ano pang gusto nila? What else they want to drive at?
Is it enough? You think, is there enough there to file a case?
Yes, if they want to file a case, do it now. There is enough basis. Admission against interest. On that score alone, you can start initiating preliminary investigation.
When Duterte says, sige, kalimutan niyo silang lahat, ako ang
Yeah,
responsible
he
sa
says,
lahat.
I take full responsibility. And he even said,
I imagine any president can say that. Na, oh, hindi, ako ultimately ang responsible. But when Duterte says it, in the context of the questions that are being pointedly asked of him, how material is
well, as I said, that's admission against interest. Inamin na niya na ganito, ganyan. You remember, he even testified that some victims are thrown to the ocean.
Yeah, and inamin niya na, I told them, instigate so that the fellow will fight para may excuse ka na barilin. He said that much.
Yes,
That was my order.
But sometimes he's vacillating.
Yes, but so when you're watching this and you're saying there should be enough already to file a case. Are you screaming at your phone? Are you screaming at the television? I mean, but in your mind, if you were the one in position now, what would you do? What's the most concrete thing na andyan na, ano pang inaantay nyo?
Exactly. Exactly. They're prolonging it.
And so
So they're entertaining people.
Exactly.
They with Duterte, they are entertaining people, and with their questions and their accent and their grammar, they are entertaining people.
So if by now wala pang nangyayari, is it
Hindi
fair
ba?
to conclude na wala ring mangyayari?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, give them the benefit of the doubt. Tingnan natin what course of action they'll take. But even Duterte says, up to now, file the case against me. Diba? He's goading them to file the case against him. But up to now nga, wala. I mean, all you have to do is initiate a preliminary investigation. May case build up na yan eh. So you segue to preliminary investigation.
Okay.
Up to now,
No.
wala. Enjoy na enjoy.
But every day na lumilipas na hindi nangyayari to and we're giving the benefit of the doubt, every day that our benefit of the doubt is not actually rewarded with something substantial that happens. I mean,
Kasi
when
nga,
do we
they
just say na
they
hindi,
enjoy-
walang mangyayari dito. It is going to be the same sarsuela, it is going to be the same thing. We learn a lot more, but in terms of the closure, in terms of the justice, in terms of the cases that we want to see, if by now hindi pa nangyayari, safe to say, walang mangyayari dito.
Well, I don't know. But as I said, I still give them the benefit of the doubt. Dapat gumising na sila to do something concrete. Not just, grandstanding, asking repetitive questions.
The advocates of law and justice who say that, it's the long arc of justice. Basta mangyayari yan, di ba? Kahit gaano katagal yan, mangyayari at mangyayari. But people have spent lifetimes, and what they ultimately see is a lot of things going back to square one, and a lot of things did not coming to pass. Then even when things come to pass, like this, you finally have Duterte being confronted with tough questions. Or even on the other side of it, you see Leila de Lima being released and cleared of all the cases, cleared of that injustice. But there's still that nagging question in me, na, was that justice at work? Or was that still ultimately politics?
Given the experience of people, they believe that politics always comes in when it comes even to justice. They say that, like, example, someone wins a case in the courts. Nanalo yan. Kasi yung kamag-anak niyang politician, kinausap yung judge na pinasok as judge. So you can never give the benefit of the doubt na yung judge na yan decided fairly. Okay? So here comes a law-abiding legislator. He wants to be honest. He appears honest. But you always say, kunwari lang yan. That's the attitude of people.
Yes.
Diba? Yung parang, you're so cynical, you're so disbelieving. Parang wala nang tama. And then here comes, let's say, a labor official. So he applies the law strictly. But sasabihin mo yan, susunod na yan, kandidato na yan.
There must be a catch.
Yes.
Diba?
Bakit ganon? Yeah. The trouble is, politics, good governance, ethics, should converge together. There should be a conspiracy of these three para maniwala tayo. Pero if you rely only on politics, but nakalimutan mo yung good governance, nakalimutan mo ang ethics, back to the same banana.
Yeah.
Like, we had a good government after the EDSA revolution. We thought, tuloy-tuloy na yon. What happened? Back to square one.
I admit, even now when I look at what's happening with the QUADCOM and of the hearings, and it's something that I kept asking also of my previous guests. Parang I asked it of Chel Jokno, I asked it of Benny Abante, I asked it even of Leila de Lima, na ano ba itong nangyayari kay Duterte? I guess one cynical question that we all ask is, okay, finally humaharap siya, or pinapaharap siya. Pero papaharapin ba yan kung hindi nalusaw yung unity team?
Kaya nga, kadamihan ng mga tao, they suspect the motives of what are happening now in the Congress. They can never, I sound like a broken record. I always use that phrase, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Pero ganito naman because, look, we have had so many upheavals, we have had so many problems, we had many successes. But up to now, we are back to square one. Sinayang natin yung EDSA natin.
Do you give people the benefit of the doubt? Still?
It depends. Kung sino. Diba?
But what's your instinct when things like that happen? Is your instinct to
to
allow good faith?
If I know the person that well, I'll give him or her the benefit of the doubt. Pero kung bad shot siya sa akin, even if tama yung ginagawa niya, sabi ko, there must be something behind that.
Okay. Nakikita niyo naman po with her passion, with her beliefs, with her good faith, and also cynicism we all share, but certainly also the good humor. Ay, maraming salamat po because I think everybody sees Conchita Carpio Morales, she's just like us.